the other thing I was looking at is obesity. You know, obesity is one of, if not the leading preventable cause of death in the United States. There's so many other health problems that are the result of obesity. And some people say that we need to make exercise more popular. Some people say that we need to stop normalizing obesity. Some people say we need medical treatment for it, or we need to make healthy eating better. I took a pretty cynical view of it. I said, no, obesity is not going away unless you let American people eat whatever they want, whenever they want, as much as they want, with no lifestyle changes, no exercise, and absolutely no effort on their parts whatsoever. And so within that constraint, what could you do to solve this issue? And the result, the idea came on was long chain hydrocarbon based synthetic foods. So in other words, oil based foods. You guys are familiar with Impossible Burger, Beyond Burger. Have you had them?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was probably better than the worst beef burger you've ever had, right? It was at least at that level. It's better than the worst one you've ever had.
Yeah, it was a whatever. I'll eat this.
Yeah, whatever, you'll eat this, but certainly not up to the level of the best beef burger you've ever had.
No.
And so one of the interesting, this is where I was drawing from outside, in an outside world. All these people trying to make fake food, they're all trying to build fake food out of food. And I said, well, wait, let's think of this from first principles. If I'm a materials engineer and I'm trying to solve the set of problems that a fake burger manufacturer is trying to solve, how it feels in your mouth, how it comes apart in your mouth, how it sears, how it cooks, how it changes texture when it's cooked. If I was a chemical or material engineer trying to build, let's say it's not food, just a paste, a substance with a certain set of parameters, what am I going to use? Is it beans? Is it chickpeas? Is it corn? No, of course not. I'm going to use oil because man is a master of oil. We can make it into anything: waxes, gels, solids, anything in between, rubbers, pastes. We can do anything with oil. We can make it into truly anything with almost any material properties that we want. And so I said, well, let's leverage that. Let's leverage everything we know about making inert hydrocarbons that are non-toxic and use that to make fake food for people that tastes and feels like real food, but has zero caloric value, that cannot be absorbed by your body. It just goes right through you, just like fiber. And the thing is, it's not that crazy.
It's Taco Bell.
A Diet Coke for, yeah, yeah, that exists, dude. It's called White Castle. But you're just saying like the Diet Coke cheeseburger.
Yes, exactly. Diet Coke cheeseburger, the Diet Coke cheese, the Diet Coke dairy products. And so I actually started making prototypes of this, and I was messing around with frying foods in mineral oil with high flash points, because mineral oil also no calories. I made some paraffin-based cheese. So it was basically like paraffin wax-based fake cheese product that you could still make grilled cheese sandwiches with, and it tasted great, but had almost no calories. There were a few other wild things that came with. I also built a device that injected soda syrup through a stream onto your tongue directly as carbonated water flowed over it, because it turns out you can only detect. It's a weird perceptual thing. People think of optical illusions as the main type of illusion that's out there, but there's also physical illusions. Like if you put pudding in your mouth, your body assumes that the full mass of the pudding is comprised of whatever is touching your tongue. But if you can create physically structured foods where the part that's touching your tongue is different than the bulk of the rest of the material, your body still thinks that the entire bulk of it is whatever's touching your tongue. Anyway,
dude,
I went down this rabbit hole for a while.
What does your house look like?
Well, I mean, it's a little more boring now. But at the time, when I was acquired by Facebook, I moved up to the Bay Area, and we had about 10 people living in a 13,000 square foot home that was built in the 30s on 6 acres. And so we turned the dining room into a machine shop. We turned there was like a ballroom for dancing, and we turned that into an assembly area and welding room. I mean, we had a soft goods room in a little sunny area, as someone does.
What is a soft goods room? Cool. I don't even know what that means. What are soft goods?
So it's like
cream cheese.
I mean, like the traditional example when people talk like a soft goods engineer would be like tennis shoes, bras, things that are incorporating fabrics and also or think, like a tennis racket is an example of soft good engineering, where you've got, the handle and the shock absorption and all that. But like in our case, it was for head mounted display stuff. So like head mounted display straps, the fabric associated with it. We also we're also cosplayers, so we were also building our anime costumes there. So a lot of soft good stuff.
The more you talk, the more I realize you do the one thing that we celebrate the most on this podcast, because they're like, people are like, I don't get it. Like you and Sam, you do a certain style of entrepreneurship, right? For example, I optimize for I want it to be me and one other dude. I don't want any employees. I don't want to go to an office, and I just want max leverage. And I'm not trying to be a billionaire. I don't want to raise money. I want to own the whole thing and just do it my way on whatever projects are fun.
Yep.
And but then sometimes we'll celebrate like the you and Elon Musk of the world that are going huge. And sometimes we celebrate this dude who's making this Chrome extension and he makes 20K a month and lives in, Bali, and he's having fun. And so people don't get it. They're like, what do you like? Which one do you admire? Like, I get it. TechCrunch admires this thing and VCs admire this thing, but you guys seem to be across the board. And we're like, we like people that just define winning on their terms and then like actualize it. So like you having a house with 13 other people that has like, an assembly room and a soft goods room and a whatever, it seems like you're living your best life in that state, maybe.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, it's the weird thing about what I get to do now, like these all sound, like fun things, but I'm still getting to do that. And like Andro, we have all kinds of stuff like that going on. Actually, the tough thing is the coolest things that we're doing here, I can't even necessarily talk about, because the most successful projects that are doing going in the coolest directions are the ones that we have to keep kind of on wraps. Oh, I have to say on Petroleum food, just in case anyone's wondering why I didn't do that. One, I thought national security would be a better use of my time. And that was because I realized national security was a technological problem in addition to being a lobbying and marketing problem and sales problem. The problem with Petroleum foods is that it was not sustainable if using new oil as a feedstock. It would consume too much. And the good news is you can recycle hydrocarbons. But then, I mean, I don't know if you can see where this is going, but it means you're going to literally be like centrifuging oil out of the sewer system and then reusing it to construct new food. And I realized, like, have you seen all the media coverage of pink slime at McDonald's? And that's just like
I
just
saw
chicken,
it going that
but
way.
it looks kind of gross. Yeah, do you think people want to buy food that's literally remanufactured from sewage? That was kind of the main problem. I said, you know what? I'm pretty good at marketing and sales. I am not good enough to sell sewer food to people.
Yeah, you sound.
I need to figure that out.
You sound like you're a bad guy in Batman. If you're like, yeah, he's going through the sewers and recycling it, turning it into food for the city.
It's almost too good of a story, right? Sometimes I think the media is unfair, but it's like, could you expect them to not, sensationalize literally a guy who's selling reprocessed sewage as food? Like it's like they have to cover it in a sensational way, and I can't even blame them for it. And I decided I would rather work in an area where technological improvement would be the main way that you would compete. We didn't need to do crazy marketing. You just had to be competent and be better than all of the other players, which was not necessarily that high of a bar.